Yo, 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 what it do, what it do? It's your boy Young Laporte, and today we have Miss Phebe Trotman here. She has this thing called Never Quit on a Bad Day. That is a beautiful title. I love that. I love that. And we're going to definitely talk more about it. We're going to learn more about Miss Trotman. I am inspired by reading Miss Trotman's profile, and you will be too once you learn what it's about. So definitely welcome to YTP Entertainment, Ms. Trotman. We are so honored and feel blessed to actually have you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to just have a conversation today and help to continue to inspire. I get inspired by what you're doing with your podcast and helping people. So it really is an honor to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so, so much. So what are some of the current events that you have going on?
Oh, I feel it's so funny. I love that you have a hat on because I feel like I wear multiple hats and I love it. Like I truly do love it. I feel like I'm so grateful to God that I am a personality where I thrive off doing different things and learning in different environments. So I wear a few hats. I mean, I run a soccer program for kids under 4 to under 7 with an incredible team of coaches. So I love the sport. I've grown up playing the sport. So it's just a chance for me to share something that I'm passionate about with that next generation and mentoring those players and coaches. So that is hat number one. Hat number two, I have an online business. I've been with that company now for 18 years. It's a really cool tool to help business owners and people stay connected. And so I've learned and grown up a lot through that. Then I help a friend with a dental recruiting agency. That's hat number three. We do staffing for dental offices. And then hat number four is author of Never Quit on a Bad Day, Inspiring Stories of Resilience, which I'm just so grateful to everyone who has read it for their positive feedback and the contributors, and just super excited with how that book is helping people on their own journey as well. And so those are my hats right now that I'm wearing, and we'll see. And there's some other stuff in there, but those are the main ones.
That is awesome. So never quit on a bad day, ladies and gentlemen. Great title. I feel I haven't got a chance to read it yet, but I feel like just looking at your profile and finally getting a chance to actually meet you, that this is definitely a great book, definitely something inspiring for people to read. And everybody needs to make sure that you actually get out there and get Miss Trotman's book. I'm going to share this screen right quick so people can actually see what you got going on. Check this out. Check this out. So please, let's get this book in your hands. Check it out. See that? Never quit on a bad day. And I was also looking at um some of your stuff on the internet, and OMG, I am super, super happy because I was looking at how your interactions with the children, because it's funny because I also drive a school bus. And in my school bus, I have to deal with children every single day. And children are literally my favorite people. They are
They're
just
cool.
so spontaneous.
Oh, they
They are.
do it and tell it like it is. They do not
Exactly,
play.
exactly. They do not have a filter. They are just so spot on, especially the little pre-Ks, first graders, all the way up to like fifth grade. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get the next day, not even the next 5 minutes. You never know what you're going to get.
Oh, true, right? Oh, it's a blast. That's
But I
awesome.
truly love seeing your interaction with the children. And everything that you do, from what I've seen, because I literally been following a lot of stuff that you got going on. So
Thank
it's just so
you.
genuine. And that right there is such an inspiration to me, mainly because of what we talked about right before we got started. Last thing, I got four women that raised me in my life,
Mhm.
and they were powerful women. They taught me a lot about females and to understanding females, how to treat a female, and things of that nature. Like, oh my goodness, you just don't know the joy that it brings for me to see another woman actually doing a lot of the same things that I was brought up seeing. So
Mm,
it is an honor, definitely. It's an
I
honor.
love that. I love that.
So tell us what got you started with this book. Says The title is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. It's so interesting. And I want to share this because I think it's so important as humans just to be open, right? Have an idea like what brings you joy. What do you feel like your purpose is? Yet that being said, how you execute it, it might take a twist that you never really imagined. And all that to say, I have a lot of life goals. However, writing a book was never on that list of goals. There were so many things I wanted to experience and accomplish and but however, writing a book, it really wasn't on there. So it's still very surreal to me to be like, oh my gosh, I'm an author, because it wasn't on there. However, I've always been someone who's been open. And one of the things that it's been on my heart for several years to create something that would help, that would inspire, that would educate, just and just give to people. I love to to be someone's cheerleader and encourage them. And so
Yeah.
I knew that that was on my heart. However, I didn't know what that was going to look like and how what form it would take to be able to do that. So, and I was with some friends, and this is again another important lesson: surround yourself with great people because I'm so grateful for them. I was with some friends, and they're very successful business owners as well, and we were just kind of chatting about what's next. And I shared with them that yeah, it's been on my heart to create something. I just don't know what that looks like, and I just was like, I know I want it to be something, but what I'm not sure.
Tell them to
And
come on, get on this show. Tell them to come on. I'm ready.
yeah, okay, yeah, they're great guys. And they were the ones who suggested write a book. And I kind of chuckled a little bit because I've had other people in the past who have said, hey, you should write a book.
Mhm.
And I said to them, I said, the same thing. I was like, I don't know, and they're like, well, hold on a second. The reason you should write a book is because, and I had shared with them earlier that I had worked really hard with my amazing team of people to hit the top rank in my network marketing company
Mhm.
because I wanted people to see that someone else could do it. You could be, a person of color. You could be a female. You could live in another country. You could be all these things and you can still do it. And so I had shared with them that, and they flipped it on me. They said, okay, well, that's, why you worked so hard when you shared this. That's why you should write a book because for all the people that it'll help, that it'll inspire. And because that's always been on my heart, then I was like, okay, well, maybe, I was open to it. And then I said, well, if I'm going to write a book, it has to do two things. Number one, it has to help and inspire people. And
Mhm.
number two, I have to feel passionate about the content. Like, what am I writing this book about? And so I just encourage people to be open, with that. Because then when I sat with it that night, I was kind of simmering on it and I was like, okay, a book. What am I passionate about? How can I help people? And the month before, I had an incredible honor. I was inducted into the Coquitlam Sports Hall of Fame. And in that, there was an interview, and the interviewer asked me, what has sport given me? And I shared, so many life skills that I've learned through participating in sport for so many years and incredible highs like national championships on all levels and personal awards, player of the year, MVPs, all these different awards. I said,
Yes.
however, the only reason that I've been able to have all those highs is because of the lows, getting cut from a team, sitting on the bench, sometimes not even dressing for a game, like
Yes.
playing 5 minutes when I wanted to play the full 90, and
Mhm.
pushing through all those,
Yeah.
getting to the other side. That's the only reason. And so when I was sitting there kind of with this, am I going to write a book? Maybe I'm open to it kind of idea. That's when it all came together. And I said, that's what I want to write a book about. I want to write a book that shares kind of the story behind the story, because oftentimes we see, or someone will read this bio of these accolades. However, they didn't know that I got cut from a team and bawled my face and crying for weeks because I didn't make it. Like, because it's not something it's not that I won't share it. I do share it. However, when you just see these awards, it's people aren't necessarily thinking about the tough stuff to get to that. And so when I realized that's what I wanted to write a book about, I wanted it to be, a collection of short stories sharing kind of the story behind the story. Then I
Exactly.
started to get really excited about it. I did get really excited because I knew that that would be something that people can connect with. I knew it would help. I was excited about it. And then with the title, Never Quit on a Bad Day, that was a saying I heard like years and years ago. And it's always stuck with me, especially because yellow, like it applies to everything, right? Like never quit on a bad day. It
Yes.
isn't a soccer saying, it isn't a business saying, it's like a life saying that you
Yeah.
can apply to any area. And so I always say I do this thing with God. I call it like my open the door, close the door. And so I was like, okay, God, if I'm supposed to write a book, I like the idea of this title, Never Quit on a Bad Day. I'm like, okay, if the domain name, if that URL, neverquitonabadday.com is available, then I know you're opening the door, you're saying move forward in it. Because I was still like, as much as I was excited, but I still was, I had those thoughts and those doubts because I'm like, I've never written a book. I don't know. Am I supposed to do, And so I was saying this, and then I was like, or if the domain name isn't available, then
Uh,
I know maybe this isn't the title or the timing, or then I can just pause on it. And so I came home from that, and I Googled it, or I went to GoDaddy and I put it in, fully expecting it to be taken. Like fully, I was like, that's okay. I did the step forward, not the
exactly.
time, no worries. And I put it in and it was available. And I literally was like, oh, okay. So does it, okay, I guess like, here we go, and so I got the dough. And then I was, as much as I was very excited, I also had, I'm sure, everyone listening can relate, the butterflies, the doubts, the
Yes.
thoughts,
Oh, yes.
and I share in the book, like one of the things over the years, I've started getting very comfortable being uncomfortable. That
Uh-huh.
being said, there still were moments where I was like, I don't know, all the chatter, but I learned to get comfortable being uncomfortable and using those butterflies and those nerves to push me forward, not to stop
Yes.
me, but to realize that by taking a step forward, that's all you have to do. Take one little step forward. So I
Yep.
purchased the domain and I was like, okay, I've got this now. What's the next step that I can do? Okay, how do I want this book to look like? And I started looking towards the end, like, okay, and I got super excited about, because I realized it wasn't just one book, it's a series of books. And I see
Yes.
it and I see the reviews and I see all this happening out of it. And so yeah, and so here we are now with first book done, incredible feedback, and already working on the second book in the series.
Awesome. That's what's up. That's
Mm.
what's up. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Now, you spoke on some of your accomplishments, and I have a picture that I want you to tell me about because I see you look very happy. Like this was one of the greatest moments in your life. And I'm so
Interesting.
curious that you to tell me about this one.
I'm curious too. What picture is it? This is hilarious.
It's on your Facebook page. I'm about to show it to you right now.
Okay, let's do it. Interesting.
It'll be this one right here.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That was fun. So that photo was, oh, when was it? 2015. Okay. So Vancouver was hosting the Women's World Cup. And so in that, and I said, as my role with soccer and being a coach, I don't even remember how I got an invitation. However, there was, I guess it was Adidas and Soccer Express. So they put out a notice that we could go to BC Place, where one of the games were going to be hosted, and
Oh,
kind of have a behind the scenes tour of the Women's World Cup. And so it was super fun. We sat at where, like, the press release room where they have, or sorry, the press rooms. We went in the tour of the change rooms, and I had been in BC Place before, and had kind of that experience. However, it was so different because it was preparation for the Women's World Cup. And I've been to the Women's World Cup
mhm.
when it was hosted in LA before. And so it was neat because it's right in, in my home city, to be able to have that. And then we had a chance to kind of take pictures and hang out and be on the field and sit in the chair. And yeah, it was just such an incredible experience to see it kind of behind the scenes, and then obviously attending the games and cheering teams on, and go Canada go, and just having such a great experience with friends and teammates and family. And so thank you for that. That actually, that memory, just all of a sudden I was like, what picture is it? And so to see that again is incredible.
Hey, I told you I was paying attention.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment. Pretty cool moment.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. So during this time that in 2015 when you were having the event, what were some of your challenges that you faced during the event?
During the event, how do you mean? Because I went as an attendee. I wasn't playing, I wasn't a like anything. So I mean, during that time of life, if you will, it was, I mean, I see where you're going with it. I see where you're going with it. So here's the thing. I lost my dad in 2012.
Oh my.
to cancer. And it was a very, like, one of the hardest experiences I've ever had to go through and maneuver through. And, I look at that picture in 2015 and I think about that phase of my life and how much grief and anger and frustration and disappointment and so many emotions that were happening. And then I look at that picture and I was like, oh my gosh, I almost forgot about that moment because I was in such a fog for such a long time. However, there were those moments of joy.
Mm,
And all that to say to people listening, like, even when you're in it and it's hard and it's frustrating and it's sad, there's
mhm.
still going to be little moments of joy. And so thank you for bringing that back, because I literally, it's sort of a blur, because there was, a huge chunk of my life that, I did stuff. However, I wasn't fully present. And so now to see that moment again and just be like, oh, yeah, that was a tough time in life. But there were those little moments to hold on to that you can find gratefulness and gratitude for. And so I always encourage people, even when you're going through tough stuff, find things that do bring you joy, that bring a smile to your face, that you can still um, be grateful for and have those moments.
Yes, indeed. Well, I had to ask because a lot of times, people get to hear the good things, but a lot of times people don't get to hear the downside.
Yeah.
And the reason why I do things like that is because I like for people to understand that the things that we see as a downtime are not always negative. Sometimes it's just a moment where you kind of stagnate until you get through it. And once
Hmm.
you get through that moment, you uplift yourself, you've gotten past that moment, and now you're ready for something new. You're ready for a
Hmm.
new challenge in your life because you've grown. And a lot of people need to understand that anytime there's a downtime, if you take that as a lesson rather than taking it as a negative, you grow from it. But if you take it
Yeah.
negative rather than taking it as a lesson, then you're not growing because you pretty much staying stuck in that time
Hmm.
instead of allowing yourself to come out of it and blossom and continue to be the
Hmm.
person that you are or continue to be someone better than what you once were.
Absolutely. And I think that's such an important point, because you're right. If we just sit in it and don't look for that lesson and that growth opportunity, then you are stuck. And that's a challenging piece. And I know it's not easy. Like, that was a horrible time. Again, there were moments of joy for sure, but there
Yeah.
was a lot of tough, tough times. And in looking back on it, would I have wanted to go through it in that way? No, not.
No,
I'm
it's
not
not.
going to say, like, when people say just be grateful, I'm always like, well, hold on a second. Yes, there's time, like, you do want to be grateful. You might not be grateful for that experience or that hardship, but you can be grateful for the lesson and the growth and the person you became out of it. You can be grateful for the moments of joy that happened. I say that with my dad and everything we went through. Would I want, do I, like, am I grateful that happened? No, not at all. However, I am grateful that I worked online at home and I had the time to be with him, to be at every appointment. I'm grateful for that time. I'm grateful for the moments that we shared, so you can still find gratitude and things to be grateful for, even if it's not that particular situation. There are other things you can be grateful that we're breathing, we're here today, we're having this time, and that we can share these lessons and moments with other people in hopes that it will help them as well too, with
Yes.
whatever they're
Yes.
growing through, versus just going through it.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. I love the way you said that. They're growing through it versus going through it. I love that. That is awesome. So is this that right here?
That is my dad. Yep, absolutely. That's my
Yeah.
angel.
You are definitely a good image of it. You look like his twin.
Yeah. And it's funny because you say that and then you see my mom and everyone's like, you look like your mom. I'm literally a split. I am,
But
unfortunately, a
you look like
split.
both of them, but I kid you
Yeah.
not. You definitely look
Yeah.
a whole lot like dad. I kid you not, no doubt.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I figured that that was mom, but I kid you not, mom looks pretty young.
I know, I know, right?
She does. She looks
Thank you,
pretty
Lord, for
young.
good genes. I got both of them, good genes. Fortunate.
Yay for
Amen.
good
Thank you.
things. No doubt, no doubt. I mean, I like to be honest and straightforward. At the same time, I like to have fun. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because you never know what bundles of joy life brings, you know. And
Mhm.
speaking of bundle of joy, please, by all means, share with us this interesting story because, oh my goodness, you have a bunch of things on here that I am so interested in. I think that you have a very interesting life and some things that you've done in your life are very interesting.
Thank you. I love this. I'm like leaning. What's next? What is he gonna pop up? Oh my gosh.
I
I
had to
love it.
spring it on you a little different.
And there's like a little pause, so it like adds extra suspense. Like I'm like, come on, internet, let's go. What's coming? What's coming? Oh, it's so good. So good.
So with this one right here, this one definitely reminded me of when I was holding my daughter for the first time.
Ah, okay. You're giving me some hints. Giving me some hints.
I'm gonna step out and go back to it because it didn't let me do it the
Okay,
first
no
time.
problem.
I'm going back to it. There,
Oh,
there
that
it
is, oh, probably the
is.
one. So that is my niece Skylar. So she was 3 weeks. Actually, yeah, she was about 3 weeks old. She's born December 7th, and 3 or 4 weeks because I think we took that picture. And that was her first trip up to. They live in Seattle, Renton, Washington. And so
Awesome.
the first time they came up, and we were at a family, very close family friends anniversary party. And yeah, that moment. Oh, I remember when she was born. I literally got a speeding ticket driving down to Seattle because I heard my sister-in-law was in labor, and I'm like, we gotta go, let's go. And ended up, yeah, literally getting a speeding ticket on the way down. But
It kind of
I
makes
thought
you look like a new mom. I kid you not.
I know, right? Well, they are. I mean, I don't have my own birth children, so those, her and my other niece, Tatum, are, yeah. I love children, so having my nieces, it's been just fun watching them grow up. That little one in that picture is now 10,
Oh wow.
and oh yeah, exactly, super smart, super fun, and anytime I can get with Skylar and Tatum, those are my nieces' names, I'm there all the time. Yeah.
I saw you holding up the awesome auntie shirt.
Exactly. I'm an aunt. It's official because I had like close friends and their kids. So I was always auntie before, but then having my brother and sister-in-law have Skylar, I was like, it's official. It's like, oh yeah.
The official auntie now. There's no
Official auntie. Yeah.
so it's all in the bloodline now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's
Little
pretty
Trotmans. There's little Trotmans. Yeah.
there you go. That is awesome. So throughout your journey, what would you say besides dad's transferring over? What would you say has been one of the most trying times that you've had to get through, and how did you get through it?
Oh, that's a good question. How did I get through? I think there's been a lot of, well, nothing I think compares to in terms of the grief. I've lost other family members and it's been challenging for sure, and close friends. And um, I think one of the things I would say has helped me in terms of those challenging times really is just having supportive people around you, like good people who just they're there for you. It's not they're not gonna sugarcoat and oh they because really and truly when you're in it, you're in it. And we look for when people are going through tough times, we look for words of comfort. We want to, what can we say and how? Sometimes it's just being there. It's just being with that person, letting them know you love them, sending a quick, heart. It can just be a heart emoji, just letting people know. And that was something that I just hold so dear is people who just reached out and who again didn't, it wasn't about saying the right thing or the wrong thing. It was just people letting me know that they love me, they care for me, they're here for me. Um, and supporting me through everything that I'm going through. They're praying for me, just hearing that. I'm like, oh, thank you. I need those prayers, keep them coming,
Yeah,
and then being able to
yes,
do that
yes,
for other
indeed.
people. Because as we know, like life is tough. Like part of the reason, again, just that having that mentality of never quit on a bad day is knowing that there are bad days. Like that is part of, um, unfortunately being a human. Like there's gonna be those times, and knowing that you can get through it. We've all been through very tough stuff before. And leaning on that, as you said, like what helped me get through it? Well, a lot of times it was having other people, but it was also going through, I've been through some tough stuff before. I'm going to get through this, and holding on to that hope and belief, and knowing that you will make it through. Now the timeline, no one can say that. That's for each person, it's individual, but just holding on to that. And that's been something that regardless of what the challenge is, that I just hold on to. Like I will, I have some challenging stuff I'm going through right now personally, in terms of my mom, and it's hard. Like there are days where I'm just like, real, like it's hard. And I just hold on to, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. And you got to go through it. And again, grow through it. And we're going to get through it, and just hold on to that hope and belief,
Yes,
and knowing you will make it through.
yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. And you picked a great topic, a great title. I meant to say for your book. Yeah, I'm truly loving that. So when you go through the title for your book and the stories, the storylines, the topic, and things of that nature, pick three characteristics about yourself and tell us how they correlate to your book.
Three characteristics. Okay, so one of them, and one of the lessons that comes through in the book, is perspective. Actually,
Mhm,
first, let me just say this. The reason, because you talked about the title of the book, my goal with that, because that saying has been so powerful for me throughout my life, part of the reason for choosing that was really just to get that saying out there, like for more people to hold, whether you read the book, someone reads the book or not, when they
mhm.
hear that saying sticking with them to help them through whatever they're going through. And that's really one of my big goals with the book and the brand and everything, is like, whether you ever read it or do anything with, once you hear it, hold on to that, because there
Yes,
is power in that.
yes.
To answer your question, so one of the things I would say, perspective. So, and one of the powerful lessons in the book, in terms of one of the stories, and the way the book's written, it's a collection of short stories, and at the end of every story is a section called Reflections on Resilience, and it's
Okay.
really for that reader to kind of reflect in their own life and kind of go through some exercises. So have a pen when you go through it, because you can write and reflect and think. And in one of those reflections on resilience, I talk about perspective,
Uh,
because the story that was shared, the contributor who shares the story really had to flip his perspective on what he was going through. And so one of the things that I've realized that I've learned, or it was in me, I'm not sure, but is perspective, in that when I do have things that are challenging or frustrating, or that don't go the way I want to, is I kind of go, okay, perspective, like, is this truly as big as of a situation as I'm making it? How can I shift my perspective to go, again, what can I learn from this situation? How can I do better next time? What can I implement so that this doesn't happen again? Like really just looking at the situation for what it is, in terms of having that perspective, and looking to shift it. Because sometimes, we have, it's like glasses, right? You put them on, you can see clearly. Sometimes you need to change. Sometimes your glasses are dirty. Let's face it. Like we're looking at something and we're like seeing all these things. Maybe if we just clear the lens a little bit, put it
yeah.
on, let's look at it with another perspective. And so that's
Yes.
one, characteristic that I feel like I've been able to do well with it is having a positive perspective on situations that
Awesome.
happen. That would be one. Another lesson and kind of care is just gratefulness, like finding the gratitude in life, right? Like one of the things I share this in the reflections and resilience that I did when things weren't going great business wise. I was frustrated. My business wasn't growing as quickly as I would have wanted it, and all these different things. Is I put in my phone an event, and every single day, I still do this. This is like years and years ago that I first put it in, but it was to force myself to take a moment to have gratitude. And so every day at 9:10 p.m. Pacific, a reminder calendar invite on my phone pops up and it says, I'm so happy and grateful that dot, dot, dot.
Mhm.
And I put it in there because I wanted to become more intentional with being grateful. And now I wake up and I have moments of gratitude. I go to bed and I can do it throughout the day. It's just now part of who I am. However, I put it in there before so that it would force me to pause. Whatever I was doing, just pause. Sometimes it would be like 2 seconds because I'm driving, my eyes are open. I'm like, I'm grateful that I have a gas, I have a car. Sometimes it'll be when I'm at home and it's a little longer. So I encourage people listening and watching, do that. You choose the day, the time of day, but put it in there because it will force you. And then the gratitude now just, again, with that perspective and gratitude, it's in me. Like situations will happen and I'm like, okay, what can I be grateful for? What can I be grateful for? Because it's just part of how I maneuver, if you will. The other thing I would say that is very me, a characteristic out of that in that book, really is just be like resiliency, just keep going. Like, there has the journey of how I thought it was going to be. It hasn't been a straight line. It definitely not been a straight line. There's been zigs, there's been zags. However, I keep moving forward. That is one thing. I keep moving forward. I keep moving forward because as we talked about, Olivia, like I know where I'm headed in terms of what I'm creating in life. And so it's just a matter of like one foot in front of the other and keep going. And even though, yeah, we'll get a little hit over here and go and like, okay, let's get back on track and then hit over here. Okay, let's get back on track. And I keep moving forward with it. Keep moving forward.
That's a blessing. That's a true
Yeah.
blessing. I tell you, one of the things that I still say it to this day is if you're not grateful for the small things, don't expect to see a bigger picture. And the reason why I say that is because that was one of the things that was taught to me when I first started out into entrepreneurship, learning about being an entrepreneur, doing things as an entrepreneur, trying to grow my business and things of that nature. It was tough. It was tough, and I was
Mhm.
always expecting things to come instantaneously, which starting out as a new entrepreneur, yeah, you see how all these other people are growing and how they've gotten things, but you never know the backstory.
100%. We see it and we're like, oh, they just did that like this. And you're like, hold on. That person on the other side's like, oh no, you don't know what
Exactly.
the other
Yeah.
part.
Yes.
Mhm.
You never know the
Absolutely.
backstory.
Absolutely. And I just say that all the time to my team because the other piece of it, in terms of the grateful for the small stuff, I say, like, if you want to celebrate the harvest, you have to celebrate planting the seed in the sense of we often sometimes minimize things that we do. And it's like, hold on a
Yes.
second. Yeah, okay, fine. When you hit your big goal, celebrate. But what about all the little goals along the way to help you get to the big one? Are you celebrating them? Are you like, I did that? Like
Yes.
entrepreneurship, you got started in a business. How about we celebrate the fact that you got started in a business? Like, those little milestones on the way, we often, and that was sort of realizing because really didn't celebrate a lot in the beginning. I was like, hit a goal, next, let's go, let's go, let's go. And not doing that. And I realized how much I was missing part of the journey of building this business and celebrating. So I just encourage people like listening and celebrate the small stuff. And as you said, yeah, be grateful for the little
Yes.
because being
Yeah.
grateful and celebrating those little are what is going to lead to the big.
Yes, indeed. It sure is. And one other thing that I want to add to what Miss Trotman is saying is when you think about how many small things come into your life, you have to understand that all those small things add up to something big.
Mhm.
Think about that. Those small things are consistently adding up to something big. Because when you
Mhm.
try and collect all of the small things that has happened into your life and they have been small good things, take out the butt. Take out
Mhm.
the butt. Because you only have one butt. You was only born with one. You don't need to consistently have but
That's
that
good.
was small, but I was really looking for. You only have one. Stick to the one that you have and be grateful for the new things that are constantly happening in your life. That's growth. Even if it's on a small scale, you're still growing. Take that stepping stone and keep stepping, you know.
Yes. Oh, that is so I love that you only have one, but I talk about limiting language, like limiting language and success language. And like we say the word try, like I'm gonna try and start a business. Well, you've already like Yoda said it best. There's no try, do or do not. And so we talk about like success language because a lot of times we can take ourselves out of the game. And how you just said with but and like we only have one, that is so powerful. People listen, don't miss that because it's true. People, we add the word but, like, oh, well, I made $5,000, but it wasn't 10, or but it wasn't this, or but. And you're right. It just, again, it takes away, it negates what you did do. And so just eliminating that. And I love that yellow. I'm going to keep that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. That is
By all
great. You
means,
only
by
have
all
one. You only have one.
means. Hey, and when it's time to sit down, sit down. Sit down and enjoy yourself. Sit down and enjoy those small moments, those small stepping stones that came into your life. They didn't come into your life because they wanted to. They didn't come into your life because they say, here I am, surprise. They came into your life because you deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve that. And the cosmos only give you what you deserve. It doesn't give you what you think you want, what you
Mm-hmm.
think you need, what you think you should have. It doesn't give you that. It gives you what you deserve.
Mm-hmm. You dropped wisdom over here. I love it.
Hey, I try to drop a few keys on a few people so that they can have an
You are.
opportunity
You're
to
not trying
unlock
to. You are.
certain
You
pieces of
are.
their heart.
You are. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Hey, you did drop some jewels up in here too now, so people make sure you're paying attention because we got some jewels going on up in here. All you got to do is just do one of these numbers.
I love.
It's yours. It's your turn too. It's your turn too. Take these jewels and run with them. Run with them real
Mhm.
fast. Don't slow down unless you have to.
Yeah. Keep going. Exactly.
I'm loving this. I am so loving this. I was also looking at you had the successful and heart-centered entrepreneur. What made you come up with it that way? Because I really like the way that's interpreted. That is so cool.
In terms of heart centered,
Uh-huh.
really, because I feel like as people, when we lead with our heart, right? We focus on we have a heart, this other person has a heart. When we focus and lead with that heart connection and how we can just love on people and support people and leave, encourage people, that's where the magic is, right? At the end of the day, everybody has something they should be celebrated for. Everybody wants to feel loved and appreciated. And so for I say that in the sense of as an entrepreneur, I lead with the heart with everything that I do, like with building my business and it was network marketing companies. So you're working with other entrepreneurs, people who said yes. I've always led from my heart, like what is it that you want to accomplish? Because I can have all these ideas of goals for that person, but if that's not in their heart, I'm not helping them. I'm not serving them. I'm serving myself in that I'm like, okay, I want them to do this. Well, if that's not what they want, that's not in their heart, I'm not connecting with them on a heart level, if that makes sense. Right. So That's always been something, even with the kids that I coach in soccer. It's like, I just want them to feel happy, whether they like, it's not about the sport of soccer. Yes, obviously, we're still teaching them soccer skills and helping them develop, but it's really about helping them find a little bit of joy and have a smile because they made a pass or had a new friend or we got a high five and that's what they're happy about. It's really just how can I help someone's heart grow a little bit more and feel that love. And so that's always top of mind for me in terms of all my interactions and everything that I do.
That is awesome. I love that. I love it. Oh my goodness. You are what the people who speak on someone who has specific accolades, you are that phenomenal woman. That's your accolade right there.
Oh, thank you.
No
Oh, I
doubt.
received
No
that.
doubt.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No doubt. That is it. That is so true. So tell me this one. Um, who is Miss Phoebe before the entrepreneur?
Who is Miss Phoebe before the entrepreneur? Miss Phoebe is a pretty simple person, actually. Like I adore my family. I'm so grateful for my family. I'm fortunate that I have incredible role models in older cousins and aunts and, my parents and just everything that they've created from a family unit, if you will. And when I say family, again, we can create family in any way we want. Like yes, we're the family we're born into and our bloodline, absolutely, that's family, but also we can choose. And my parents they moved to um my parents left Barbados, moved to Portland, and then moved up to Vancouver. And so a lot of the blood family was back in Barbados or in England in different areas. And so they created a family through, their church community. They created a family through friends that they went to school with. And those are people who I consider my cousins and my aunts and uncles, as well as my blood family. And so I'm grateful for them because all of them and growing up with them has resulted into who I am as a person. My friends, I love my friends. I have a great group of friends. Like I've had friends since grade 6, and friends who I played soccer with when I was 6 and we're still friends. Like, and just having that, my partner who's an exceptional human being who I'm just so grateful for him. And so I'm just a person who, I find it's hilarious because now as I'm older, I think it's kind of funny. So my first name is actually Phoebe-Joy. So it's Phoebe Joy.
Okay.
And I joke because I'm like, I just find joy in everything I do. Like I want to have fun. And I'm like, oh, it's in my name. So I guess that was how it was supposed to
Hey.
be, But yeah, I'm just, a person who enjoys connecting with people and just having those quiet moments sometimes with people that I love. And then I just like to have fun and new adventures. And Phoebe likes to learn and grow, I said that earlier, like the different hats.
Yes.
And part of that is because I truly love learning. I love growing. I love being challenged. I think that's the athlete side of why I've just loved soccer is because there's always these challenges, right? You're always like, okay, I want to win this game or,
Yep.
make this team or whatever it is. And so that just has continued through in terms of my life that I'm always looking to learn and grow. And in that, I end up kind of wearing these different hats, but they all are part of who I am in the sense that in all of them, I can encourage people. In all of them, I can cheer people on. In all of them, I'm continuing to learn and grow and help and inspire.
Yes.
So as long as that happens, we'll see where Phoebe goes next.
There you
It's
go.
part
There
of
you go.
it, right? We'll
There
see.
you
We'll
go.
see.
Totally understood. Totally understood. I am so loving this. I am so loving this. This is so cool.
This is great.
we,
I mean,
we,
yeah, this is awesome.
we get to learn more about you in different ways. We kind of breaking it up a little bit, but we still get to the full story with the pieces of information, especially with what you're saying. Oh my goodness. This is
Mm.
awesome. This is awesome, Miss Phoebe. I'm loving this. And oh, I got a good one for you. The group Naughty by Nature.
Hmm.
All right. So For you, it's gonna be joy by nature.
Oh my God. Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. There we go. I'm gonna make a song out of it too.
It's to be joy by nature.
Joy by nature. Oh yes. I'll share that with my mom. She'll love that because she's the one who named it the joy part. Actually, the Phoebe part too was all her.
I mean, think about it. You say you find joy in everything that you do, and your name is Phoebe hyphen Joy. So think
Hmm.
about it, joy by nature.
Joy by nature. That might be my new tagline. We have to throw that in there. Created by Yellow. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is so cool.
That's good. That's good
That
stuff.
is so cool. So I ask you, since we're getting so close to our time, do me a favor and give us something that is most inspirational to you.
That is most inspirational to me. Good question. I
I
don't.
try to ask the good ones. I try.
You do. Well, I'm thinking like how inspirational to me or something I can share with everybody to help inspire them. That is more so
Or
I
both.
feel like. Okay. So here's what I'm encouraged because this has been something for personally that has been so transformational for me. And I share it. So one of the things in the book, there's QR code at the end of every chapter as well that you can scan, and it's a video by the contributor. And I just told the contributors share can be a word of encouragement, whatever's on your heart. And so one of the things that I share in when you scan it in the chat, my story chapter is I talk about this thing called your dream day. And it's an activity that I did many, many years ago when I was nowhere near living my dream day, if you will. And I've kind of elevated over the years. And I want to give everyone this the simplest version of it. Basically, get a pen and paper or a journal. And the idea behind it is write out your dream day. What does it look like from the moment you open your eyes in the morning to the moment you close your eyes at night? What does a dream day look like? And you want to write it in the present tense and you want to really get in the feeling of actually living that dream day and write it all out. And the reason I encourage people to do this is because I remember when I first did it, I was nowhere near living my dream day. I really had to stretch. However, it's been so, and I've done it again over and over, and I've elevated. I created a workbook that's available if people want to dig deeper with it. That being said, is it gives you something that we talked about that hope, right? And knowing that it's going to be better, that like you can make it through. And that's how I've used it. And so I use my dream day, and the picture on the workbook is of a lighthouse because that's truly how I use it as a lighthouse. So when I'm going through that tough time and I'm frustrated, or I might just be like, what am I doing? Like, what do I do next? I refocus on that dream day, and everything that I do is taking me towards it. And I've had moments where I've lived snippets of my dream day, and I'm like, I wrote about that. Like, and it's such an incredible, powerful moment. And so I encourage people, and that's where I draw a lot of inspiration from personally is because I see how I'm moving towards that dream day. And as I said before, sometimes the path is different than I thought it would have been. Like I might have thought, okay, well, this is going to take me closer to my dream day. And it ends up being, takes me over here, which leads me to something that takes me to my dream day, if you will. However, it's always moving me closer. I have a target, I have clarity. And that's another thing that I realized in all the stories in the book. Everyone had clarity in terms of what they were looking to create. And sometimes I feel as people, we're so busy with this and that we haven't really stopped to go, what do I want my life to look like? Like, what do I truly want my life to look like? And
Exactly.
just doing that dream day activity, it has been transformational for me over the years. And I just encourage people to take some time and do it. And I find inspiration, in so many different ways, if you will, but that has been something that's been definitely helpful and
Yeah.
inspiring.
Yes, indeed. I'm loving this. I am so loving this. That is a powerful piece, especially the way you said have a dream day. That is extremely powerful. I really hope that my people actually take something as well as yours, take something away from that. Take that and create your own breadcrumbs if you need to. You know what I'm saying? Create your own breadcrumbs to that to lead you to that day, to that dream day, because we can have this enormous dream, but not that kind of book. this is an inclusive but. We can have that type of dream, but let's make sure that we are adding things that is going to actually lead us to that point in our lives so that when we finally make it to that day, even if it's you starting out with a small one and that small one turns into a big one, just get to that point. Take that first step. One of my friends, he's from Japan. His name is Jack. His dad said to me, because I was being a little impatient with a project that we were doing. And he was like, he said, the longest journey is shortened by taking the first step. And when he
Mm.
said that, I couldn't do anything except for sit down. And I was about 16 or 17 when he said this to me. I couldn't do anything but sit down and contemplate because I totally understood instantaneously what he meant by
Say that
that.
again, please, slowly, because I want people like I'm just like that is so powerful. That is so like it just say it again so people can truly like grasp that.
The longest journey is shortened by taking the first step. I couldn't do anything. I had to sit back because
It's
I knew
so it
exactly what he meant.
well, as soon as you hear it, you're like, yes. And I did. There is one part where I say, like, just do one thing every single day that's moving you towards your goal, right? Whatever it is, just one thing. And as you're saying it, you're right. It's that first step. Like, if you want to, whatever we want to create, just take that first step, right? And it's hilarious because you're saying it, it's like, yeah, the longest journey shortened by the first step. Of course it is. Like, of course it is. But just the way it's so eloquent and just so well put. And as we embrace that saying and start realizing, yeah, every single step that you take forward is taking you closer to whatever it is you want to be and accomplish and journey. And we talked about this a lot. Enjoy those steps,
Exactly.
celebrate those steps, every single one, celebrate it along.
And another one was, how do you expect to see the light at the end of the tunnel if you never start going towards it?
Oh my gosh, that's good too. That is like one of those. Okay, good point. I guess I gotta do that. Like that is good. That is so good.
I mean,
Oh, that's
you
a
think about
gem.
it, it's like it's simple and powerful all at the
Hmm.
same time.
Hmm.
And
That's
seriously, think
good.
about it, man. How do you expect to see the light at the end of the tunnel if you never start going towards it?
Hmm.
And you can see that there's a glare. You can
Hmm.
see that it looks like it's illuminating something, but how do you figure out or how do you learn exactly what it is if you never start getting closer to
Hmm. Yeah. And
it?
one saying that ties onto that I've always like kept as well is doubt will take you out of action. Action will take you out of doubt. Because oftentimes we just get stuck, right? We're just like sitting in it. And we're like, well, is it going to work? I don't know. Da, 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 all this like, and we're like having all these. And that's part of the reason too, with when you talked about the book, like going forward. Well, because I always, that saying has stuck in my mind for so long. I don't remember who the quote's by or anything like that. But and then so I've realized sometimes it's just, again, as I said, using those nervous butterflies to move you forward, because
Yes,
as you start moving forward, the doubt starts to push away and the excitement starts. Now you're breathing life into the excitement versus breathing life into the doubt, right? That's what's stopping us so many times. And just as you said, with the light of the tunnel, to be able to see it, you got to move forward. That's that action, right? Taking that first step. Because when you take the first step, I heard on a podcast the other day, it's like when you take the first step forward, now you're different, little bit different viewpoint. Then you take the
yes,
next step. You're looking, you're seeing different things, right? And in that movement
yes,
forward, things become, as you said, the light becomes brighter. You start to see clearer because you're moving forward and you're taking
yes,
that action.
yes, indeed, yes, indeed. And I mean, think about it now. We got to add what you just said. Now you got to take the doubt out of it. Because when you take the doubt out of it by using the action, guess what? Once the doubt starts falling off for you, like layers of heavy metal, because you feel like you're
Mhm.
walking so heavy. Once that doubt start falling off, then you start walking closer and closer. Your head is up, your chest is out, your pride is starting to blossom and show to where people can say, hey, that's a good person. That's someone who I want to be like. That's someone who I want
Mhm.
to follow. Someone who I want to continue to inspire me to do the great things that
Mhm.
I'm doing because I see them going in that direction. And then what happens when people start to admire that? The aura, the aura. When the
Mhm.
aura starts to blossom, then oh my goodness, you have finally elevated to a level that would say, I will never walk backwards again. I will
Mhm.
only look backwards because you have to look at your past to understand where you came from, but you also have to look at your past and understand where you're going.
Mhm. Mhm. That is so good. So good.
Thank you. Thank you. I also talk about these
Mhm.
things when I do my relationship coaching too. So
Mhm.
I think that this is important when couples, when parents, single parents especially, dealing with their children. If you understand that you're not there to control your child's life, you're there to guide them. There's a
Mhm.
difference in being in control and guiding because the only person that you should actually be in control of is yourself. You're
Mhm.
not in a relationship, irregardless to what type of relationship it is. If it's a couple's relationship, if it's parents' relationship, if it's relationship of just being friends, you're not in that relationship to control anyone. You're in that relationship to be that guide, to be that
Mhm.
support, not to be a crutch, to be that support. that
Mhm.
and when you do that, life changes so fast in front of your face that growth take you to a level where you're elevating so hard that you really like, wow, did I really do this? Did
Mhm.
I really do this? Am I really going in this direction?
Mhm. Yep. And sometimes too, it's the, oh, is this cutie pie?
It's my granddaughter.
Hi.
Anaya.
Hi, Naya.
She say hi, baby.
Aw.
She always want to be a part of my podcast.
Of
So
course. Naya, you are so sweet.
well, Miss Phoebe, so tell us, where can we actually reach you? Where can we actually see some of your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website, neverquitonabadday.com. So I encourage everyone go visit. You can get a free chapter from the book as well. I chose that particular chapter because it's all about belief, and belief is just so important in the language and the words that we use. And so encourage people, check that out. Then I am on social media, Facebook, Instagram. So Never Quit on a Bad Day is the Instagram handle, as well as Facebook, Never Quit on a Bad Day. And then there's my personal Phebe Trotman as well too.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You have been definitely a true inspiration to me, to my thoughts, to my heart. And I'm so happy to be a male that is a part of women's empowerment because
Mm,
women are the keys. Women are the tools that we need to not only broaden our horizons, but to help us to understand parts of life that we don't understand because you all see things differently than what we do.
mhm,
So when we learn to observe, learn to accept, learn to respect the things that women do, we're going to grow. We're going to grow. But
mhm,
we're not going to grow if we don't finally at some point appreciate that women are more powerful than what you see on the surface.
mhm.
That's real.
Yes, Naya. Yes, Naya. Thank you so much, Yellow. It has been an absolute pleasure. This has been so fun. You kept me on my toes. I've learned. I love those gems. And yeah, I just appreciate you and everything you're doing.
Thank you so, so much. I appreciate that a lot. It makes me feel good that I'm doing my part as a male and helping people to grow as well as me growing from other people because I feel like I learned something from every person that I'm actually doing my podcast with. And I'm always
Mhm.
grateful for each and every one of you all. today is Phoebe's turn. Phoebe gets the spotlight today, so I'm definitely grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Miss Phoebe, thank you so much for joining YTP Entertainment. It's been a true blessing. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. And you have a wonderful, wonderful life because I already know you got a journey ahead of you.
Absolutely. You too, my new friend. You too.
Thank you so much. And I will be following you on social media, so I'm letting you know now.
Absolutely. We're connected. We're connected.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful night. Peace and blessings to you.